Hey guys, welcome to everybody today for those online and also those in person, right? So we'll be starting the session shortly, right? So just another 1 or 2 minutes for a few more students to come in, okay? So everybody can just get ready, right? And today maybe just to give a bit of an overview as well, right? For the session this afternoon, right? We are looking at primary mathematics. And primary mathematics actually it will be suitable for like our P4, P5, and the P6 students also. And we'll be focusing on really problem-solving strategies, right? So why are we looking at that today? Is because if you all know, right, for mathematics, one of the biggest problems that students face is solving problem sums. So how many of you, maybe because we got physical students over here, right? You all find problem sums very easy to solve. Oh, quite a number of you. So are you all very good at mathematics? Yeah. What do you get for your last mathematics test? AL1, And how about you? AL1 also. Okay. So there's a common pattern to that. And how about this boy at there? Full marks, okay, can. So what you all see here is that, and also for those online also, right, there is this relationship between doing well for problem sums and doing well for math. So usually for the students that we see really score very high marks, maybe even full marks or AL1 for their math, they usually do very well for problem sums also, right? And most of these problem sums actually are mostly in paper 2, right, of the PSLE mathematics. But where we see students also, if they have more problems, like maybe they find like they are not quite passing or they cannot break through the AL4 mark, is also because of problem sums. So today we are going to be going through, problem sums. What are some of the tips and strategies, right, for you to tackle it properly, right? And actually what we have here is also we will share a few questions that y'all can also try. And later on, our teacher here, Teacher Carmen, right? Teacher Carmen is our very experienced math teacher at My Stretcher. She will be working through with y'all, right, on these problem types. How do we recognize the clues in the question, right? And how do we go through the standard way of solving different questions? So for those of you, how many of you here are My Stretcher students? So both online and So do y'all know at My Stretcher actually how do y'all tackle problem sums? What's the name of maybe this very good, right? So we use this idea of the MS power codes, which actually is a kind of problem-solving strategy, right? That we can use for different types of questions. So today, right, and no worry, so everybody here, actually what we'll do is that we'll be going through that later on our MS power codes and how that can be applied to solve questions, okay? So I think we can start proper now. And maybe also let me introduce myself. I'm teacher Wei Lun here, right? So I'm the academic director at My Stretcher. I see a lot of familiar faces. I think quite a number of you were here yesterday, or you also took part in some of our boot camps and all as well, right? So maybe as a show of hands, also for those online and here as well, just to get to know you all better. How many of you here today are primary 4? Primary 4, you can raise your hand. Primary 4? Okay, 2 of you over there, right? And over here as well. Online, how about online? I think, online got about 3 people, 4 people. So I would say that primary 4 is probably at the level where things are not as difficult yet, right? You are still learning the basics, getting to know your mathematics concepts and all. But now we come to P5, right? How many P5 are there here? Oh, quite a number of P5, right? Quite a number of P5. And online also, right? So I think, quite a number of P5 online also. So you all would see actually generally for the parents here also, generally what we do see for the teachers is that for the students as they go from P4 to P5, that is where that jump happens, be it in terms of the topics that they have to learn for math, be it in terms of the difficulty level of the test papers, they also become much harder. So it's actually possible that sometimes for the child, right, or for the students here, right, you'll see that at P4, you can still do quite well without studying too hard, right? But once you go to P5, right, you realize if you don't study, there's actually a chance that you may fail the test. And the reason for that is because the test difficulty actually goes up quite a bit. Okay, so that's the part also that's where all the problem solving strategies and all become very important also. Okay, and finally P6. So are there P6 students? So we see a few P6 students over here, right? Okay, and online as well. So online also, right? So we are getting very close to the final mark. The light at the end of the tunnel is in sight, right? After all the hard work. So remember, this is the final lap, right? So hopefully y'all are all prepared and ready. So y'all can take today's session as a way for y'all to also recap, right, on some of the key things, okay? And to keep the session interactive, anytime you all have any questions, you can also ask directly. So that's also the reason now why we also brought back this hybrid format, right? So instead of just purely online, we also have this physical session where, we can meet face to face. And anytime you have questions, you can also check in with us, right? Be it in terms of, power codes or be it in terms of our program, etc. too. Okay, Ken? Yeah, so to keep it interactive, just feel free to ask any questions along the way too. Okay, so with that, right now, I'm going to pass over to teacher Carmen. So teacher Carmen, right, is our very experienced math teacher. She will be going through with us, right, today's session, right? 2 parts, problem solving strategies and how to avoid common mistakes too. Okay, Ken, so I'll pass over to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Teacher Waylun. All right, so there are two parts that I'll be covering today. Yes, Ken, sure. Okay, there will be two parts that I'll be covering today. First of all, I will go through the main bulk of why we are here today, which is to look at some of the commonly tested problem-solving heuristics. Okay, some of you who are not Mind Stretcher students, you may not know what is power codes. Like what Ritik mentioned just now, power codes is actually a name that we have in Mind Stretcher, which we are going to teach you strategies to solve heuristics. Do you all know what are heuristics? Is there anyone who don't know what is heuristics or don't know what is power codes? Heuristics. Do you know what is heuristics? No?
Different types of.
Okay. How about you? Do you know what are heuristics or power codes? You are not an MS student, right? I saw that you didn't raise your hand earlier. You are an MS student. Is there any non-Mind Stretcher student here? You are not from Mind Stretcher. Okay. Do you know what is heuristics? No? Do you know what is power codes? Okay, so I have to explain because there are people who don't know what are heuristics and what are power codes. There are some questions that are word problems. Word problems. You know what problems? The 3-mark question, 4-mark question, or even the 5-mark question. Okay, so we are going to solve those kind of heuristics, a few of the common ones. And second part that I'm going to go through today is how to avoid common mistakes. Okay, any one of you do know what are the common mistakes that you always make in an exam paper? You do. Okay, yes, these are our P5 and P6 students, right? Yes, what are some of the common mistakes that you make?
You write the units, and after you don't write the units, and then you get like half mark minus.
Yes, okay, forgetting to write units or wrong units or no units. Very good. That's one of the common mistakes I'm going to go through later. How about you? What's your name?
Calculation error.
Calculation error. Are you a Mind Stretcher student? Is that what your teacher tell you? You are prone to calculation error? Yes, that's why how you learn the name calculation error, the mistake. Yes, very good. So if you are aware of what are some of the mistakes that you have, the mistakes that are common to you, how can you avoid them? How would you avoid them now that you already know your common mistake? Your mistake is that you maybe forget to write units or you maybe write down the wrong units. So what would you do to prevent you from losing that half mark?
So before moving on to the next question, just make sure that the units is the correct units. And then if it isn't the correct one, make sure that I change it before moving on to the next question. And in case I don't change it before, I need the last 5 minutes to check and make sure that when I'm checking, I just don't ignore the mistakes and make sure that I correct the mistake.
Very good. So he mentioned 2 points. One is to check before he move to the next question. Another one is to check again before he submit the paper, right? So are you more conscious about that because you know you are prone to that kind of mistake now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And how about you? If you mentioned you are prone to calculation error, how do you avoid that? Now that you know that you are prone to do your working instead of calculating mentally. Yeah, so these are some of the example. If you know what are your common mistake, you can know how to avoid them and you avoid losing mark. Right? So these are the 2 parts we are going to do today. First, we teach you how to gain the 3, 4, 5 marks. Next, we teach you how not to lose the half mark or the 1 mark, so as to maximize your score. Okay? Let's begin now with the first question. Okay, this whole number question 1 is the exact same question that you see on your table. Question 1, I see that some of you have started trying. I see that paper over there is quite full. Have you gotten the answer? You got the answer. Anyone else got the answer? Situka is a primary 6 student. He is taking his PSLE next week. So I assume he have got all the 4 questions all already answered with the final answer there. But other than Situka, who is primary 6 and taking his PSLE next week, he is fully prepared. How about the rest of you? I see that your paper is quite blank. How able to solve reading is also one of my students is primary 5. He can solve a lot of questions in my class also. How about this? Okay, can. So if that's the case, then anyone wants to try? Look at the first question first, then we go through together, okay? Okay. Now, this question, maybe I go through a little bit with you. I will show you. Okay, the purpose what I want to do today is not to teach you how to solve question. Okay, my purpose of being here today is to share with you how we teach our heuristics problem in class. Okay, so that you have an idea of how is it like to be in my heuristics class. Okay, now the first skill that I always tell my students is when you receive a problem that is new to you, annotate. Okay, that's why I have my pen. Okay, now all of you, you have your pen with you, right? Can you annotate the keywords with me? Try. The first sentence, Sandy buys 7 notebooks and 4 pencils for $93.50. What is so important here in this first sentence? Yes.
7 notebooks.
7 notebooks.
4 pencils.
4 pencils.
So then they add up to $93.50.
$93.50. Okay, that's one important point. So let's all highlight that. 7 notebooks, 4 pencils, $93.50. That's the important information we want to note down in the first sentence. So once we underline that, number 1, we read that. Number 2, we underline that. It will highlight our attention back to it again when we look at the first sentence. How about from the next part? If she buys another pencil, she will have $7 left. What is the important keyword here from this sentence? Okay. Yes, Ritik.
Another pencil.
Another pencil. Very good.
She will have $7 left.
She will have $7 left. Okay. Now there's an indirect meaning over here. If she buy another pencil, she will have $7 left. What does it mean? Does it mean that after she buy the 7 notebook and after she buy the 4 pencils for $93.50, she still have more money? Yes, it means that, right? So how much money she have at first? Is it going to be more than $93.50 or less than $93.50? More than $93.50. So later on, if any one of you work out your answer and your answer happens to be less than $93.50, you immediately know that your answer is wrong. Okay, so Situka, is your answer more than $93.50? So it's a probability that is correct, high probability that is correct, right? Because it's not lesser. Okay. Now, what's the other important thing we want to note from the next sentence? Yes.
Book short of $4.
Very good. Another notebook short of $4. What does short of $4 means? Yes.
$4 to purchase a book.
You need another $4. So does she have enough money? Not enough money. Can you see that there's 2 scenarios over here? From the second sentence and the third sentence, there's 2 scenarios over here. Can you see? Yes? Okay, and what is the question asking for? What is the question asking for? Can we have someone else? This is always the few hands. Can we have some new hands here? You're also primary 6, right? Okay, what is the question asking for? At first. What is the keyword that we need to highlight? At first. How much money does Sandy have at first? Okay. So now we better understand this problem. Anyone want to make a guess? What is the name of the power code we want to use here to solve this kind of question? Yes, at the back. Excess and shortage. Let's review. Let's review the answer. Is it excess and shortage? Yes, very good. Yes, excess and shortage is the name of this power code. How do we know that it's excess and shortage? Because extra money left over, $7 left. shortage of money, not enough money over here. So this concept is excess and shortage. Now we see this is the remaining money after spending $93.50. This is the remaining money Sandy has. Okay, if she buy the pencil, she will have $7 left. Okay, so this is the remaining money. She buy the pencil, right? She have enough money to buy the pencil. She still have $7 left. But if she want to buy the notebook, does she need more money than her remaining money? Yes, she need another $4 more. So the price of the notebook is more than the remaining money. Okay, what can we see from here? Anyone? Can anyone tell me what do we see from here? Pencil, notebook. Yes.
The difference between a notebook and a pencil is $11.
Excellent. Now with this, are more of you able to solve the problem now?
Yes.
You know that a notebook is more expensive than a pencil by $11, right? And you can go back to the information from the first part. Okay, from here, I am going to on my turbo speed a little bit, because that's the most important thing I want to explain over here. How do we get to this part of $11? Once you get the $11, you can very quickly solve, because you know that 7 books, 4 pencils is $93.50. You can draw a model like that. Notebook is $11 more than pencil. Okay, so we can have a model that looks like this: pencil, 4 pencils, 7 notebooks, total $93.50. Then we can work out, minus away this $11, all this $11, $11. That would be a total of 11 units. Then we can divide by 11 units. And we can find $1.50. That is the price of 1 pencil. Then how much money does Sandy have at first? If she buy another pencil, she will have $7 left. Okay. Any primary 4 students here? Primary 4? Do you understand what is happening over here, the last part? The last part? Okay. So once you get the first part, the last part is clear for you. I think we have primary 3 students here also, right? Primary 3, Melody also primary 3. Do you understand this part? After we have the comparison model, then we can solve. Okay? Can? Okay. So the question is how much Sandy have at first. So there's one more step. Maybe you can try and continue and find out what is the final answer. I gave you some time to try and continue on from here so that you understand what you are what you are solving. You got the final answer? You got it?
Yeah.
What is it, your final answer? 102. 102. 102. What's your final answer, Shituka? 148. Okay. We got 2 different answers. Ritik, what's your final? Haven't yet? Oh, I got a 109 here. So this $1.50 is the price of the pencil. Another 102. Okay, 21021109.
93.50
$93.50
plus one
plus one more pencil plus the $7. Is that what you did as well? Situka? 102. 102. Okay. Yeah, so what he shared earlier on is correct. He said that the Total amount of money for these 7 notebooks and 4 pencils is $93.50. Then after that, if she buys another pencil, which is $1.50, she will have $7 left. So the total amount of money she have at first is what she have already bought, plus if she were to buy a pencil and the $7 left. Okay, there should be a +7 here. There should be a +7. It's covered by the, yeah. Okay, and how are we going to check our answers? What about this all below? It is actually a way to check our answer. Anyone of you able to tell me why is there a all over here? What are they trying to find by using 150 plus 11 minus 4? Anyone of you can make up what is this all over here? Where did it come from? Anyone other than Ritik wants to try? I think I'll let Ritik try first. He raised his hand.
Second sentence says that if she buys another notebook, she'll be short of $4. So which means, just like we did with the pencil, to add 1 unit, which is the cost of pencil, and add the $7, we add the price of the pencil plus the $11, which is the difference between the pencil and the notebook. Then, since they say it's short of $4, so you minus $4 to give you.
Yes. So very good. Thank you, Ritik. So to check our answer, we use the amount of money she already have to buy the 7 notebooks and 4 pencils, plus a notebook. If she buy a notebook, she will be short of $4. So she doesn't have, she's short of $4. She still need another $4. So she doesn't have this $4. We minus away the $4. So the amount of money inside is 102. So this is how we can check our answers. Many at times when you solve word problems that are 3, 4, 5 marks question, there are more than one way to arrive at the correct answer. So this is what you can do when there are more than one way. You can very quickly double check using the other way to see if you get back to the same answer. And sometimes for some questions, you can work backwards to find out if you work backwards, do you get back the information given to you in the question? Okay. Now let's look at the next one. Okay, this next question over here is on working backwards. It's another power codes working backwards. You can see that to solve working backward question, we actually use a table, okay? And we start from the final position. We start from what happened in the end, and we will try to use the table to work backwards. Can anyone tell me why do we need to use a table for working backwards? What is the purpose of using a table? Can't I just write my answer? Is there anyone who want to answer other than him? Because it's always the same few hands. Yes?
Maybe like because we need to work forward before working backwards first.
We need to work forward because why do we use a table? My question is, why do we use a table?
To show clear comparison.
To show clear comparison. So I think the keyword you got it is to make it clearer. When we use the table, we can see clearly what is happening. Okay, we are able to visualize clearly what is happening. That is why in working backwards question, we usually use a table. We teach our students to use a table to note down the steps of what is happening. Yeah, earlier today, I think I saw some of you who tried the question, you did draw a table as well. Okay, and how has the table helped you? Understand what is happening in the question better. Okay, it's clearer. It helps you to understand what is happening in the question better. Okay, so let's look at this question. There are some water. Beaker A and B contain some water. There's one thing that happened. 450 ml of water was transferred from B to A. That is the first thing that happened. Okay, 450 milliliters of water transferred from B to A. So remember, even before you draw the table, you need to read the question and annotate the question first, right? So can you annotate with me? Can you annotate with me? Can you underline what I have underlined and put down a number 1 over there? It shows that that's the first thing that happened. Okay, So if you are in my class, that's what I will always emphasize. Annotate your worksheet, right? Next, 1/4 of the new amount of water in B was transferred. 1/4 of the new amount of water in A was transferred back to B. So transferred back to B. How much water transferred back to B? 1/4. Okay. Anyone able to tell me what does this 1/4 means? Yes. 1 out of 4 units A have. That means A has how many units? 1 unit or 4 units? 4 units. That means A has 4 units of water. 1 unit was transferred to B, and A is left with how many units? 3 units. Okay, you will see later why it's important that I ask this question. Okay, this is the second thing that happened. And is there a third thing that happened? No, that's all right. Only 2 things. Okay, and what happened in the end? What happened in the end? We have the amount of water in both beakers, the final amount of water in both beakers. A contains 900, B contains 2,100. And the question is asking for amount of water in each beaker at first. Now, this is how I recognize that it is a working backwards question. A series of things happen. In this case, 2 things happen. I am given what they has in the end. I am given what the beaker has in the end, and I am asked to find the at first. Okay, so later on, after we go through all the questions, I will show you what we have in our weekly class worksheet. We have an example how we do teach working backwards, and there's a list of things that we actually list down to help you identify that kind of question. Okay, later on I will show you. Now, so how do we solve? Beaker A, beaker B. We start with, in the end, the final stage. 900 ml of water in A, 2,100 ml of water in B. Then we work back. I have a question. If I work back, should I look at number 1 first, or should I look at number 2 first? The first thing that happened, or the second thing that happened? Can we have someone from here? Second. I think he already answered. Okay, how about you? Do you agree? Second? Yes, very good. When we work backwards, we look at the second thing that happened, which is 1/4 of the amount of water in A was transferred back to B. So A is only left with how many units? 3 units. A is only left with 3 units. Now this is the 3 out of 4 units of water left in A. Okay? 3 out of 4 units of water left in A. Any question here? Anyone still don't understand why is this 3/4 of the water? Do you understand why is it 3/4 of the water here? Melody, understand? Yeah? Okay. All right. So if this is 3 out of 4 units of the amount of water, then how much is that 1 unit of water being transferred? 300. 300, right? This 300 is that 1/4 of the amount of water being transferred. So let's put it back to where it originally came from. Put it back to A or put it back to B? It was transferred to B. So if we work backwards, we put it back inside A. So 300, we take it out from B, we put it to A. Okay? Were you trying to figure this out just now? No? You're able to do this? Yeah? Okay? So B, before number 2 happened, okay, once we get to this stage, before the second event that happened, beaker B have 1,008 ml of water, and beaker A have that 300 more. Okay, so before transferring the 1/4. So beaker A have 1,002 ml of water. Right? And what do we do then? Have we completed working backwards for step number 2? For stage number 2? Have we already worked backwards for stage number 2? Yes. Yes. So what's the next step now? Go back to stage number 1. Very good. Go back to stage number 1. 450 ml of water was transferred from B to A. So where is the 450 ml of water now? Is it in B or is it in A? It's in A. So what do we have to do to work backwards? Take it out from A. Take it out from A, put it back into B. And now we get our answers very clearly. Okay? Sometimes working backwards question like that could also be considered as total unchanged, because what we take out from here, we put inside here. What we take out from B, we put it inside A. So the total amount is still the same. So sometimes it's also considered as a type of total unchanged question. All right. Anyone have any questions so far? How about from online? Anyone have any question? Okay. Okay, now let's look at the next one. Okay, this next question is again another type of power codes. Today I will showcase the different commonly tested power codes over here. So now, even saved 2 out of 7 of his ang pao money. Okay. Can anyone tell me how do I read this fraction over here? I circled 2, I circled 7, I underline saved, and I underline ang pao money. So which is which? What does 2 represent and what does 7 represent? Yes. Very good. Okay. This is what we call first come, first serve in my structure. The first numerator that we see belong to the adjective that happened below, first one. And the denominator happen to the link to the next one that we see after. Okay. So even saved 2 out of 7 of his ang pao money. That means his ang pao money, 7 units. And he saved 2 units of that. So how many units is he left with? 5. He's left with 5 units. 5. He's left with 5. However, over here, spend 5 over 8 of the remainder. How many units is spent and how many units is remainder? 5 spent. 5 spent? 3. 8 is the remainder. Oh, but just now we say that 5 should be the remainder, right? But how come here 8 is the remainder?
Because it's another part.
It's another fraction. It's another fraction. So anyone have any idea how do we draw a model like that? Anyone? How do we draw a model like that?
Well, you first draw a model with 7 units.
Can I show? Yeah. So I think he did it correctly. First draw a model on top. Then after that, pull down to draw another model below. Okay, I will show it on the screen. It's the same as what we have. Okay, this is initially save 2 units out of 7 units. Okay, the remainder is this 5 units over here. Then we pull it down. This is called fraction of remainder. 5 over 8 of the remainder. So 5 out of 8 of the remainder spent on video game. Then this remaining money a television that costs $315. How much is his ang pao money at first? Remember to annotate your question.
It's ratio. Yeah.
Then let's focus on this one first. Okay. All right. So how do we identify that this is a fraction of remainder problem? Yes, Ritik? Of the remainder. That's the keyword. Fraction is a fraction of the remainder. That's how we identify that this is a fraction of remainder question. Okay? So with this, we can see that 3 parts over here, 1, 2, 3, this remaining spent on television is $315. Right? And we can then find how much is this 8 parts. 315 divided by 3 times 8 parts, we can find out the amount of money here, and that is 5/7 of his money. That is 5/7 of his money. So once we are able to draw the model, okay, we will be able to visualize the and compute the numbers. Imagine if you didn't draw this model. Will you be able to solve the question? Would you be able to solve the question if you don't draw the model? Very hard, right? Because you cannot visualize. Yeah, I know some of you will say, I can still solve without model. But you need to really visualize. And when you are visualizing, you make sure you don't make any careless mistake, you know? Not because you want to rush to finish the question, you don't draw the model and then you make a careless mistake and wasted the mark. Then after that, teacher mark wrong already, you receive your paper back. I know how to do the draw the model. Right? Don't do it at your correction stage. If you already know how to do it right the first time round. Okay? For such a question, try not to avoid drawing the model. Okay? Can? Situka, do you draw the model? Never. Because you visualize it. You think, do you draw the model? You draw the model. But you could visualize it also, but you want to be sure, so you draw the model, right? Okay? All right, so how do we continue solving from here? After we have drawn the model, 315 divided by 3. Then after that, we find 1 unit times 8 to find 8 units over here. Right? So 8 units of this remainder equals to 5 units of his money. Very good. Okay, and 7 units. Divide by 5, yes. Then multiply by 7. That's the amount of money at first. Most of the time, question like this are 3, 4, or 5 marks question for the work problems, and you will be able to use a calculator for these 3, 4, and 5 mark questions. For those of you who are only P3 or P4, calculators will be introduced at primary 5 level. But it doesn't mean that it is much easier. It just means that the numbers are bigger, so you can use a calculator. And the focus is not there on the calculation. It's more of whether you are able to understand the question and use the correct technique to solve them.
If I go medium, I think if I go medium,
P5?
numbers go million.
P5, yes, you learn numbers up to million. Yes. But we seldom see questions that are that big. We seldom see questions that are that big. We learn up to million, but you need to know how to spell them. Maybe the 1 to 2 mark question, how to work them out. Yeah, but for work problems, we seldom have numbers that is so big. Okay, that's 3 questions from your worksheet already, right? That's 3 questions from your worksheet. Okay, the next question that I'm going to flash on the screen is not on your worksheet. Okay, it's not the ratio question. It's not that. So you can let your hands rest a little and focus on the screen together with me. 1176. There may be a calculation error. Is your steps the same? Yeah. 1236. Any? No, it should be 117. There might be a calculation error. Yeah. Calculation error, right? Okay. Yeah. All right. So you can rest your fingers and follow me on the screen. All right. Anyone able to identify what kind of question is this? Ratio. It says ratio. How many of you are afraid of ratio? Afraid of ratio? Afraid of ratio? Ratio is just like fraction and percentage, but ratio, fraction, and percentage, ratio is actually much easier. Do you agree? Don't agree? Yeah. Why is ratio? Okay. We'll see how we can convert fraction and ratio. Okay, we'll see how we can convert fraction and ratio. Right. Now, this question is actually one of the more challenging power codes that we see in my structure. Maybe end of primary 5 or at primary 6 level, you'll be introduced to this. But because this is a ratio question, so definitely you'll be introduced to it at primary 6. Right. So at a charity event, 1/5 of the people bought 3 paintings. So the number over here, 1 out of 5 units of the people. So I have another fraction. For fraction, I always like to do this. I like to circle the numerator, circle the denominator, and I like to point. What does 1 represent? What does 5 represent? Can you help me with it? What does 1 represent and what does 5 represent? Okay. Everyone agree?
Yeah.
5 represent the total number of people. 1 represent those who bought 3 paintings. Agree? How about the next fraction? How about the next fraction? What does it represent? What does 7 and 10 represent?
7 represents the amount of people that bought 5 paintings, and 10 represents the total number.
Okay. 10 represent people. These are those who bought 5 paintings. Right? Agree? Do we already see a problem? What's the problem? Wait, one person. Anyone else want to speak? Yes, let him speak.
Denominator isn't equal, so we have to make the one of the denominators equal.
We have to make the denominators equal. And should we make it into 5 or make it into 10?
Make it into 10.
Make it into 10 by using equivalent fractions. So we'll multiply the numerator and denominator by 2. So those who bought 3 painting is 2 units. And number of people at first is 10 units. Right? Okay. And there's one more. The rest bought 7 paintings. So there are people who bought 3 paintings, people who bought 5 paintings, people who bought 7 paintings. And how many units of people are there? 10. 10 units of people. 2 units of them bought 3 paintings, so minus 2. 7 units of them bought 5 paintings, so minus 7. And I'm left with 1 unit of people, and those are the ones who bought 7 paintings each. Those are the ones who bought 7 paintings each. Okay? For every 1 painting that a person bought, if I buy 1 painting, $2 will be donated to charity. Do you understand the question? Yeah? If I am someone who bought 3 paintings, then how much will be donated to charity? $6. Okay, can you understand that? In the end, a total of 17,280 was donated. this is the amount of money donated. $2 for every painting, right? So there's a lot of things that I can find from here. I can find out the number of paintings donated, right? Yes? Okay? Okay, before that, let's look at the question first. They're asking for ratio of the number of people that bought 3 paintings to the number of people who bought 5 paintings to the number of people who bought 7 paintings. So the ratio looks something like that. Those who bought 3 paintings to those who bought 5 paintings to those who bought 7 paintings. Now, in ratio, you just treat it as number. Let's say, for example, in one set, there are 10 people. How many people bought 3 paintings? How many people bought 3 paintings? 2, right? How many people bought 5 paintings? 7. How many people bought 7 paintings? That is the answer. Easy? Okay, this is how ratio look like. Okay, this you can think of it as that way. It's just a simpler form. It's a simpler form. Yeah. Okay. So this is only part A of the question. There's a part B of the question. Okay, let's look at the part B of the question. And it's going to link to what we see from part A, 2, 7, and 1. Okay. So they're asking for the number of people at the charity event. How many people are there? Okay. We are going to make use of this power codes called units times value. Okay, whereby we list down the units. And I'm going to explain this table. Again, we use a table so that the information is clear to us. Okay, we can see it very clearly and systematically. Okay, so it's easier for us to solve. Now, there are people who buy 3 painting, 5 painting, and 7 painting. In a group of 10 people, 2 of them bought 3 painting, 7 of them bought 5 painting, and 1 of them bought 7 painting. You agree with me? This is what we discussed earlier, right? This is what we discussed earlier. So this is considered the units. Now come the value. Now come the value. Okay? So if they buy 3 painting, how much would that cost? $6. If they buy 5 painting, how much would that cost? $10. If they buy 7 painting, $14. Okay. And in this one group of 10, how much is the painting that they are going to buy? This person bought two. No, there are 2 people here. There are 2 people here. Each one of them spent $6, right? So the 2 of them spent $12. Over here, there are 7 people. Each one of them spent $10. So the 7 people spent $70. And over here, there's only 1 person who buy 7 painting, so much painting. That 7 painting is $14. That 1 person spent $14. So in total, one group of 10 people, how much do they spend? $96. One group of 10 people spend $96. So every time $96 donated to charity, how many people are there? 10 people. There are 10 people. Every time $96 donated to the charity, there are 10 people. Can you understand this part? Because I think I said the wrong thing just now. I said spend, right? It should be donated to charity. Every time $96 donated to charity, there are 10 people. So a total of 17,280 was donated. How many people are there?
280 divided by 2. Divided by 96. Divided by times 6.
How many people are there? Divide by 96. All of you have solved a 5-mark question with me. A 5-mark question that stunned primary 5 and primary 6 students. You have managed to solve it with me. Okay, give yourself a round of applause. I think it's very good if you manage to understand this question. Okay, especially for those of you who are at primary 3, primary 4 level. Okay. All right, let's look at the next one. This is another non-routine question. You may have seen it before. Students who's preparing for GEP, we're preparing for GEP, right? Have you seen this question like that before? Yes. What is this called? GEP student, Melody? Remember what is this called? Again? Gaps and intervals. Very good. Melody, do you remember we learned gaps and intervals? Yes, gaps and intervals. Okay, this question over here is not only just gaps and interval. It is a modification of gap and interval. Okay, let's look at them together. Okay, here, Adam was setting up cone from one end of the road to the other end. If he set his cone 4 meters apart, what is this 4 meters apart called? Gap. Gap is the distance of one interval, right? It's the length of one interval. He will be left with 196 meters of road without cone. Okay, so this question, you see, is not just gap and interval. It's slightly different from how gap and interval questions are being tested. Okay, because left with 196 meters of road without gap. All his cones are 4 meters apart. Okay. So if, I don't know how many cones he have, but if he set up all his cone, he still have some 196 meter of road left with no cones. Okay, without cones. You understand the problem? The first part? Okay, it's not your usual gap and interval. Now next, if he set up all his cone 7 meters apart, he would be left with 43 meters without cone. What is the difference now here? It was 4 meters apart. Now it is 7 meters apart. So the cones are going to be placed more widely apart, right? So is it going to take more of the road or is it going to take less of the road? It's going to take more of the road. Will you have more road left or less road left without cone? Less road left. Okay, can you see? You set up the last cone here, you are only left with 43 meters. Can you understand the problem? How many cones are there? The number of cones is the same. The number of cones did not change. What has changed is the distance of one gap. Right? And number 2, what is the length of the road? Did the length of the road change? The length of the road is still the same. Right? He just put the cone now wider apart. That's the only thing he did. Right? The number of cones is the same. The length of the road is the same. So how do we solve such a problem? Yes, Situka? Sorry? 196 minus 43, yes. Okay, we try and find what is the effect of placing the cone further apart. Okay, what is the effect of placing the cone further apart? Right, so for question like that, what we want to do is, we want to look for what is the small difference and what is the big difference. Okay, the small difference is, the cones were 4 meters apart. Now it's 7 meters apart. It is now 3 more meters apart than before. Because it is 3 more meters apart, 3 more meters apart, 3 more meters apart, then I will have lesser space and at the end now. How much lesser space do I have in the end? Okay, maybe we can look at the solution at the next page. Okay, we have the diagram. Okay, so the difference is 153. That means due to the gaps now being 3 more meters apart, the road, I need to use up another 153 meters of road. Okay, I need to use up 153 meters of rope. Why? Because each cone is now how many more meters apart? 3 more meters apart. If I extend by 3 meter, extend by 3 meter, extend by 3 meter, and in total I extend by 153 meters. That means how many gaps are there? 51 gaps. I do a division. There are 51 gaps. If I have 51 gaps, the number of cone is going to be one more or one less? One more. The number of cone is going to one more. So how I explain this kind of question? The number of gaps and number of cone. So some of the primary 3 and primary 4 students may need this kind of visualization. So usually when I teach gaps and interval question, I will teach them like that. When I have 2 gaps, the number of cone is 3. One more than the number of gaps. So if I have 51 gaps, the number of cone will be one more. Okay?
You can use your hands. There are 4 gaps.
Yes. Thank you, Ritik, for reminding. You can also use your hand. That's a very good tip that your friend Ritik here over here have introduced. Okay, this is the number of gaps. Okay, if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cones, how many gaps are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 gaps. So the number of gaps is 1 less than the number of cones. Yeah, for GEP students, you will have learned them as number of trees, right? Okay. Next one, how long is the road, right? How long is the road? Okay. So if we know that there are 51 cones, okay? 52 cones, sorry. 52 cones, thank you. 52 cones. Should we use the top one or the bottom one to find the length of the road?
Either.
Both. So again, it's just like our first question, excess and shortage. Remember, there's 2 ways you can use to find the answer. So are you going to do 1 way or 2 way?
2 ways.
Why do you do two ways? To check your answer. You solve it using the first way, then you quickly do a check using the second way to check if your answer is correct. Okay, can we just show the solution? Here, again, there's 2 ways to check whether your answer is correct. Okay, so to explain a little bit, each gap over here is 40. Each gap over here is 4 meter, and there's 51 gaps. So the length of the gap equals to the length of the rope here, plus the 196 meter left over. Or if the gap is 7 meter, there's 51 gaps. The remaining road is 43. You will still get 400 meter as the length of your road. All right. Okay. So this is how we modify our questions in MindStretcher as well. We take the heuristics from past PSLE papers, or it could be past other school papers. We take out this kind of heuristics and we modify them. We modify them and we teach it to our students. So you can see this one is not a standard gap and interval question. There's some modification made to it to include a little bit of big difference and small difference inside. Okay, sometimes it can be 2 power codes combined together. Right, in recent year PSLE question, we see that it can be different topics combined together as well. Yeah, so in MindStretcher, our worksheets are designed in such a way that we don't train you for just the usual type of heuristics. But what happens if they combine different heuristics together? What happens if they inject some something that you have never seen before, non-routine questions inside, right? MindStretcher students, you have a few of you raise your hand, right? You are in our math program. Do you see questions that are non-routine in your weekly worksheets? Yes, that's what we are training you for as well. Okay. So next, can we look at another non-routine type of question? Now, this is the question that you have on your worksheet. And that's the very, very last question I'm going to go through today. I think more of you are very, very brain dead already. The energy is different from at the beginning of class. Okay, now it's time for you to move your hands again. Too much of listening to me. Okay, now it's time for you to move your hands again. Okay? Yeah. Madam Lee bought some fruits at the prices shown below. So apple 6 apple $4, oranges 3 for $5, and kiwi 4 for $7. Now what's the keyword I need to annotate here? Annotate with me.
Equal number of
Equal number of oranges and kiwi. So we focus our attention on the orange and on the kiwis. Oranges, I can buy 3, $5. Kiwi, I must buy them 4, $7. Can I say I buy 1 orange, 5 divided by 3, and I buy 1 kiwi, 7 divided by 4? Yes or no? Cannot. Why?
It can be a sale.
Huh?
It can be a sale. Can be different. It can be a sale.
It could be a sale. That's why they say 3 for $5, right? It doesn't mean you can just buy one and then tell auntie, I don't want to buy 3. Can I only buy 1? I give you 5 divided by $3. Cannot. It's a package. If you want to buy, you must buy 3. Okay? So don't divide. A common mistake that students make is they went to divide. Okay? Cannot. Don't do that. Now, then how do I make it equal number of oranges and kiwi? Yes. Very good. We look for the lowest common multiple of 3 and 4 or 5 and 7. Why? Because equal number. Okay, so what's the lowest common multiple? 12. Okay, so first one, I look for the LCM of 3 and 4. So over here, 12. How much is this and how much is this? How much is 12 oranges?
So
Times 4,
60. So for $20.
$20. Then this one times 3, times 3, $21. Next, she spent equal amount of money on orange and apple. What is different here? What is different here? Just now it was equal number. Now it's equal. What's the difference?
Now it's the equal amount of money spent on oranges and apples. You should look at $4 and then get 4.
Very good. Oranges and apples. We look at the. But I already look at 12 over here, right? It must be 12, right? And that's a very good thing to highlight. Should I look at 4 and 5 or should I look at 4 and 20? Because we already look at the lowest common multiple over here. First condition, number of oranges and number of kiwis must be the same. So for them to be the same, the smallest amount of orange I must buy is 12 oranges. And the smallest amount of kiwi I must buy is 12 kiwis. So the least amount of money I must spend on oranges is $20. Okay? So for me to spend equal amount on oranges and apples, I must also spend how much on apples? 20 on apples. Times 5. Okay. So what is the minimum I need to buy in one group? 30 apples. How many oranges? 12 oranges. How many kiwis? 12 kiwis. Now all of you can become primary 6 students because you can answer ratio of number of apples to kiwi bought. What is the ratio? Very good. 30 to 12. Okay. Yes. Just like your fractions. Just like your fractions, always give your ratio in the simplest form. Melody, do you understand ratio now? No? You don't understand ratio? The 30 is to 12? Oh, you don't understand that 2 dots. Okay. You don't understand that 2 dots. Other than the 2 dots, do you understand how I get 30 and 12? You don't understand how we get 30? Number of apples? $30 and how we get kiwis? 12. That's how we get 30 is to 12. Okay, very good question, huh? Very good question. Melody asks, why is it 30 is to 12 and not 12 is to 30? Because, yes, because we follow the order. The question asks to find the ratio of apple to the number of kiwi. So apple to kiwi. Number of apple to number of kiwi. So apple first, then kiwi. If the question asks for kiwi to apple, then it would be 12 is to 30. Okay, this dot over here, it just means it's 2. It just means 2. It's just like your fraction, you have a line in between the numerator and denominator. Okay? Can? Then over here, we make it into simplest form. How do we make it into simplest form? 6. You can divide by 3 first, then divide by 2, or divide by 6, and 5 is to 2. Okay, can we show the solution? Okay. She bought 18 more kiwis than apples. Oh, 18 more apples than kiwis. Okay, we have a bit of ratio over here. Okay. 5 units of apples. Okay, 5 units of apples, 2 units of kiwis. So what is the difference in the units of apples and kiwi? How many? 3 units. And these 3 units represent the difference over here. 18 more. So 3 units is 18. And 1 unit is 6. Okay. So how much money did she spend on the fruits? 1 unit is 6. So in one group, remember, 5 units of apples, 2 units of oranges, 2 units of kiwis. So if 1 unit is 6, how many apples are there in 1 unit? 30. How many kiwis are there in one group?
12.
And how many kiwis are there in one group?
12.
12. Okay. So in total, in one group, let's continue on. Okay. So 30 apples, how much would she spend? Just now we had $20, right? Right? Because that is 5 groups of 6 apples. Okay, so $20. And for oranges, 12 oranges. Did we also had $20? Okay. And for kiwi, $21. Very good. So the total amount of money he spent will be $61. Okay. This power codes over here is called make a set. To find the number of sets. If not, we could have done it the other way just now also. 30 for $20, remember? When we make the equal number of equal amount and equal number. Okay, to find the number of sets. So 30 apples, how many sets is that? That's 5 sets. So 5 sets of $4 is $20. All right. Too difficult. Got fever already. I think he's very young. He's only primary 2. So this question can be a bit challenging for him. You're only primary 2, right? Yes. Okay. All right. Now, these are some of the power codes that I wanted to share with you. How many of you find the question Very, 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 very difficult. When you first saw the paper, when you first came in, you look at the 4 questions. How many of you find it very, 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 very difficult? Can you raise your hand? Very difficult for primary 3. Yeah. Very difficult for Gwyneth. Very difficult for you also. Okay. But after we go through together, in fact, both of you did answer many of the questions. Do you find that it's actually clearer if we annotate them? Yes? If we annotate them, what do you gain from annotating? Yes.
Clarity about the question.
Clarity about the question. Did you have to look back to the question after you annotate? Do you have to look back to the question? You still have to, right? But you can very quickly go back to the key point. Okay? When you annotate, you are subconsciously reading the number again and telling yourself, telling your brain that it is important. Okay, so it's very important when you see 3, 4, 5 marks question, which require you to use power codes, which require you to use heuristics, this kind of problem solving technique. It's very important that you annotate them. Okay, your math paper should not be very clean. It should not be just printing, working, and answer. It should have a lot of arrows, circles, underline, like how I did with you just now. Okay, can? Now I'm going to move on to part 2. Not done yet. Okay, sorry. The next part of what we are going to present today is a common mistake and common mistake of what students usually make. Yeah. Okay. How to avoid them. Okay. First one, 3 plus something equals to 7. A common mistake over here is for students to write 10 as the answer. Because they see 3, they see 7, they see plus, they add them together. 3 plus 7 is 10. But is it correct? It's not correct. Okay. That's the common mistake that students make. They read the question too quickly. And they thought that it's just a simple addition question. Okay, of course, if you are primary 5, primary 6 at PSLE level, the number given to you will not be so simple. It could be a few thousand. It could be a few thousand. Okay, but to avoid this kind of mistake, always double check your answer. Once you get the answer, let's say your answer is 10, put it back here and ask yourself, 3 plus 10, does it give you 7? No, that's how you know you have made a mistake. So in fact, what should be the correct answer? 4. The correct answer should be 7 minus 3 to get 4. Okay, next one. The wrong answer is 912. Anyone able to tell me why is this wrong answer 912? Oh, the same 3 of you. Anyone from here? Okay, I will let him answer. Okay. Yes. Why?
They put the one, they put it in the middle, then they were like, thought it was digit.
They regroup the one. Very good. Because 5 plus 7 is 12. Then instead of putting the 1, the 1 from 12 on top, he went to put the 12 below over here. Instead of regrouping the 1 and put it on top, the student actually put it down here. Then 3 plus 6 equals to 9. Okay, this is without regrouping. When can this kind of thing happen? When can this kind of thing happen when you're doing the working? Yes.
It's an easy question, so you're just normally doing it.
Yes. When you are thinking that this is so easy, I just need to work out the working and then start thinking about the next question already. Okay? No, don't do that. When you don't put your 100% effort into the question, things like that may happen. Okay? So the correct answer should be, we regroup into 12, right? Put the 1 up there. So the correct answer should be 102, right? 1 here, 2 here, 1, 3, 6, 10, 102. Okay. Now the next step. This one. Why is the answer 35 over here? The wrong answer is 35. Students do put 35. And this even happened at primary 6 level. I have seen students, maybe it's some 4-digit number minus a 4-digit number. And this kind of mistake do happen. 2 minus 7 equals to 5.
No.
Can 2 minus 7?
No.
Can in secondary school when you learn about negative number. But now in primary number, no. In primary math, no. Okay. 2 cannot minus 7. We need a bigger number to minus a smaller number. Okay. In primary school, there's no such thing as negative number. So what happens if 2 cannot minus 7?
You
Take
bring
one
one.
from another as a 10.
You take 10 from the tens place. You borrow from the tens place, right? You need to regroup from the tens place, and then you have 12 minus 7. Okay, and then 3 minus 1. All right. So mistakes like that do happen when students quickly look at the number 7 and 2 minus, I straight away get 5. So again, not putting in your 100% effort at looking at the question. Okay, this one very common. I see students coming to me to ask me about this at primary 4 level. Okay, I do have primary 4 classes. I have students asking me about this. How do we subtract when there's 2 zeros?
You take from the one.
Take from the 100th place.
Okay, I think he haven't been speaking a lot. Maybe we let him
You take from the 100th place and then you move it to the
move it to the 10th place. Okay, so what do we have at the 10th place?
10.
1. Okay, then what happened? Put another one here. Like that, correct? Sure? Confirm? Then what is the answer? 4 here? Then here? 7? 1.
Oh.
Oh. No, no.
No. Okay, no.
The 3 is the 9.
The one on top have to change to 9. Okay, so all of you have weaknesses, huh? This kind of mistake can happen even at primary 6 level. Even at primary 6 level, I have seen them. Okay, it's not because you don't know, you know. It's not because you don't know. You know that you have to cancel. You know that you have to cancel. When you borrow again, you must cancel this. This is 9. 10 minus 6, 4. 9 minus 3, 6. 2 minus 1, 1. Okay, but how come still make that mistake?
Calculation error.
It's not considered calculation error, careless, but careless can be many type of careless. Huh? Forget to take the one away, right? Forget. Now, the reason is because we seldom see subtraction across 0. We always do subtraction with all numbers. A lot of subtraction across 0, then it will be very common to you. Okay, the reason why students often forget that you have to cancel and write a 9 over there is because they seldom do subtraction across 0 and they forget. Okay, it's not really careless, it's not really calculation error, it's really because they seldom do it. Okay, so you see, after I pointed out that it's a wrong error, then what is wrong? Then okay, need to cancel 9. Remember, it's not that you don't know, you know, right? So you need to remember, now that I tell all of you about this subtraction across 0, the next time you see 2 0 together, you must wake up and remember teacher Carmen. Okay? Can? Okay. Next. This one, fraction, half plus 2 over 3 become 3 over 5, correct?
No. You cannot add the denominator.
We cannot add the denominator. Instead, if you want to add 2 fractions, we must make sure that they have the same denominator. Okay, instead you must make sure they have the same denominator. Okay, how about the next one?
Decimal.
decimal. Primary 3 students may not know. Okay, primary 3 students may not know because decimals is introduced at primary 4. Okay. Decimal point.
Because the decimal point for the second 1.3. Oh no, for 1.3.
I see this before, you know. I see this before in my end of year checkpoint. I see this like that. Yes. You need to align the decimal dot. You need to align the decimal dot. Seems like when you are comparing decimals. When you are comparing, you want to see which decimal is bigger, which decimal is smaller. You also need to align the decimal dot to combine them, okay? Decimals in our worksheet, we start teaching them at primary 4. Okay, at my structure, we start teaching decimals at primary 4. And in the first few pages, once we introduce decimal, we already have the align your decimal dot reminder over there for you. Whether you are adding, subtracting, or comparing decimals, you need to align your decimal dot. The exact same words that we use in our worksheet. Okay, next. Okay, over here are some tips to help you identify the type of errors you make. Remember at the beginning of the lesson just now, our friend over here say he is prone to W, wrong or missing units. So whenever he know that before he move on to the next question, he need to check and make sure he have written down the correct units, if not change it immediately. And before he submit his paper, he check the entire paper again to make sure he have written down the correct units. And our friend over here, he knows that he is very prone to calculation error. So he know that whenever he is doing his calculation, he need to be very careful and not rush through. Okay, so the few calculation mistakes that we seen earlier just now, are you aware of them? Yeah, okay, can? Now, these are the symbols you can use to identify yourself from this mistake. So at my structure, we actually classify them into 5 different mistakes. 1, conceptual error. That means the student already got the wrong concept for that question. The method he used to solve shows that the student did not understand the question. There's a misconception of the question. In such a case, the student will need to go back to revise the weekly worksheet, which we are going to teach, which we teach on that topic, okay, and try the homework boosters and do the questions and relearn that concept again. Unlearn the wrong concept and relearn the correct concept again. All right. Number 2, transfer error. Transfer error happen. I think we have. Yes, okay. Let me show an example over here. 25 tenths. This is primary 4 decimals. 25 tenths. What does 25 tenths means? 25 over
100.
tenths. 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 T-E-N-T-H-S.
10.
10. 25 over 10. It should be 2.5. But the student wrote it as 0.25. So the student actually apply the concept wrongly. Okay, so how to avoid this is to change 25 tenths into a fraction first. Change it into 25 over 10. Okay, and the next one is on transfer error. For example, the question has a 252. Okay, when the student try and solve the question, in the question it says 252, but over here 255. What kind of error is this? Transfer error. How many of you are guilty of transfer error? Oh, quite a handful, Quite a handful,
I changed it before I moved it on to this.
So is it because you are aware that you do make transfer error? Is it because you know that you are prone to transfer error?
So every time if I send a question, then I look at what answer I got and I look at what I've written in the answer blank. So if the both are same, then I'm
Okay, what makes you want to do this double check? Make sure you write down the correct answer. Because you have lost marks from it before, right? Because you have lost marks from it before. Okay, you see in this room over here, we have students who will do who are prone to U, missing wrong units, students who are prone to C, calculation error, students who are prone to transfer error. So they all know their mistakes. Those of you who raised your hand earlier, if you know that you do make transfer error mistake. So that's what you can tell yourself. Highlight the number, double check before writing the final answer. Like what Ritik mentioned, before he flipped to the next page, he make sure he transfer his answer correctly into the answer blank. And make sure from the question to the working, he did transfer it carefully, correctly. Okay? All right. Next, wrong formula. Wrong formula. I think at primary 3, primary 4 level, the formulas that you learn is just area of square, right? Area of square, area of rectangle. Okay, but going to primary 5, you will learn formula for area of triangle, and going to primary 6, you will learn formula for area of circle. Okay, so because there are so many formula over here, don't mix them up with the similar type of question. For example, in primary 6, when we have area of circle, there's also semicircle, quarter circle. How do we find area of the semicircle or area of the quarter circle? And what is the difference between area and perimeter? Some students do make this mistake, even at primary 3 and primary 4 level. Area of square, area of rectangle, perimeter of square, perimeter of rectangle. They mix up area and perimeter. So you need to know what formula is for area and what formula is for perimeter. If you need to, for perimeter, highlight out the perimeter and add up all the sides. Okay, if you need to, when you're looking for area, highlight the inside of the figure. Okay, next. Okay, wrong of missing units, I think I have explained quite a bit over there. So make sure you read the question carefully. If they are looking for area, you make sure the answer is in meter square or cm square. If they ask for length, or radius, you make sure it's in cm or meter or km. Okay. Lastly, careless mistake. There's a rushing to complete the problem or make wrong assumption. For example, 3,600 divided by 50. The wrong answer is 61, remainder 1. How can you check that this is wrong? The student actually did cancelling. Cancel the 0, then do 306 divided by 5 and get 61, remainder 1. In fact, the answer is not remainder 1.
Decimal point.
It can be remainder. It can be remainder, but it's not remainder 1. In fact, it should be a remainder 10. So how can we know? We work backwards. 61 times 50. So 61 times 5. 61 times 50 is 61 times 5, add a 0 at the back, right? So 3050. 3050 plus 1 is 3051. So if I work backwards, it's 3051 and not it's 3056. In fact, the answer should be a remainder 10 over here. So you can work backwards to check your answer if you are not sure. But now that you know, if you were to do cancelling, okay, those of you who are taking your PSLE Maths next week, pay attention. If you have to cancel to work out the answer, your remainder cannot be just 1. Instead, you have to work backwards to find your remainder. Okay? All right. I think that's for the 5 different types of mistakes that we want to cover. Okay. Okay. Now here's the worksheet that I want to share with you earlier on working backwards. This one is actually a primary 5 worksheet that we have. All right, so we will teach you how to identify that you have to work backwards. Now, you use work backwards when the ending position is given, okay? And there's 3 main phases of the word problem, okay? Where you have the at first is missing, okay? A series of events take place. Remember, we underline 1 and underline 2. And the end result is given to us. Okay, so we will do working backwards. Now, this is our example of what you will see in our primary 5 worksheet. And as we continue on to the next page, after we give you an introduction, we will have an example. We will have an example of a working backwards question. And this example will teach you how to identify that this is a working backwards question. And not only that, we also have a pathfinder. We also have a pathfinder after the example. We also have a pathfinder to help you solve similar questions, right? So my structure students should find the pathfinder familiar for you, right? The pathfinder, okay? We're going to introduce this at primary 4 level. So primary 4, primary 5, and primary 6 students will have this pathfinder to help you for the more difficult questions, the more challenging questions, right? And the other one that I want to share with you is our gaps and interval question. This is a primary 4 worksheet. So we do teach gaps and intervals at primary 4 level. So again, an example, and the detailed solution will include the step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 4 as to how to solve the problem. Okay, so this the questions that I have shared with you today, the concepts are also being taught in our weekly Mind Stretcher program. Okay. Now, can we go back to the Q&A? At this point in time, does any one of you have any question to ask? I think we can have a Q&A session. Yeah. Okay. Those few who while waiting for the questions to come in, you can scan the QR code to join our Telegram group. And this is where our Mind Stretcher resources will be posted and important announcements will be made. Okay, so we have that Telegram group for Chinese, Maths, Science, and English. So now, as you all know, now we are preparing for PSLE. So we do have some webinar sessions for all the subjects. And we do have some practice papers inside this Telegram group together with some solutions. Right? So you can join the Telegram group to look at the extra resources that we have. Okay, any question? Just raise your hand, right?
The same questions as ratio, but they are the same concept.
They are not ratio, but same concept as ratio. I think they are quite similar. Fraction and ratio, they are quite similar. At the beginning, you will see that the introduction is quite similar, but instead of writing numbers one on top of another, you are writing them side by side. And you also have the simplest form. Yeah. So in future at primary 5 level, you will also learn this topic called percentage. So fraction, ratio, and percentage, they can all be interchanged. Yes. Have I answered your question? Yeah. Okay. Any more questions? Okay, I think we have another QR code for you to scan. This one is a one-stop hub for all of our Mind Stretcher resources. In this QR code, this link, you can find the complimentary listening compre website, a compo writer, read aloud oral, something for your oral, and they are all complimentary. These are all our tools for Mind Stretcher students. Even non-Mind Stretcher students, you can access them as well. I think it was free for a period of time. I'm not sure. Maybe now I have to pay $10, is it? Okay. Yeah, but for the rest is free.
You go in earlier and you get the free one.
Oh, the read aloud, right? Yeah, I think there was a period of time we had a promo code for it to be free. Yes.
So can I get the Telegram group QR code?
The Telegram, you can scan this link. Then over here in this link, there's a link to your Telegram. Yeah, okay. Can. How about online or parents? Do you all have any questions?
Just to share, yeah. Just take the. Thanks. Yeah, so just to share, so thanks teacher Carmen for sharing. So just to highlight, so for the Telegram group, you will see here what's the purpose of the Telegram group, right? So it's not just a place where we provide updates, but more importantly, because we know for a lot of our students here, you all will need additional resources like be it practice questions, summary notes and everything. So we thought beyond our 2-hour class, one good way for us to really help our students is through these groups. So, and these groups actually are not just for our MindStretcher students, it's for any student who wants to join. So if you all have any friends, if you all have any brothers and sisters who want to come in, they are all welcome. And it's also not just for PSLE students, it's meant to cater across all levels. So these are our primary groups, and maybe Carmen, you can press to the next one. We do have secondary groups set up as well, right? So for those of you who have like elder brothers and sisters, you can also get them to join in too, okay? Yeah. So you all can also take a QR code of that, take a scan of that. Finally, I think the last part with regards to the links, right? So we can just show you what that looks like. Some of you were wondering, right? So if you look at the next slide, we have these resources, right? So maybe if you exit this and we go to the link, you all can have a sense of what are the things that we have available there, right? So maybe you can go to the stop share and then share again. Yeah, then the website. So what you see over there is that on the link itself, there's quite a repository of resources. I think some of you have tried, right? Have any of you tried our Compo Coach oral read aloud tool? Yeah, you all have tried. How is it? Was it useful? Okay. Do you any of you try the listening compre ahead? Yeah. What did that help you for your listening compre? Okay. Yeah. So that's good. And what we are trying to do here is again, we do believe that beyond just pen and paper exercises, some of these tools are also helpful for students, right? To try on your own in terms of technology too. So if you look over here, you can see just scrolling down some of the things that are available on this page lah. So one Compo Coach, actually, if you go to Compo Coach, we do realize sometimes students, if you do your own compo, you may not have somebody to mark for you and provide feedback for you. So the whole idea behind Compo Coach was that, once you have done an essay, once you have done a composition, you put it on Compo Coach. Compo Coach at least can help you to provide some feedback, how you can improve, where are the areas that you can, further improve on your sentence and all that kind of thing. So that's like Compo Coach. Then listening compre, I think some of you were trying, right? In fact, I would say that this listening compre is not just applicable for primary students, even secondary students also. Because you all know actually secondary school also got listening compre, but maybe 10 times more difficult compared to primary school. But a lot of the skills that is tested is still the same, right? How do we listen properly? How do we get the right information? How do we pick the right answers? So what we have done here is that we actually develop a whole series of passages that you all can listen and then you all can try. Because right now you all see, you all quite hard to find your own listening to do, right? If you want to practice, not much to practice, right? So we decided to also generate that there, then you all can try. Read aloud. Did anybody try last time? Read aloud. Oh, you all try also, right? So read aloud was our idea of essentially, how do we get students to practice, right? To read the passages, right? To listen to good readings, right? Good readings. And here actually we have a lot of passages where you can hear what is a good way to read the passage. How do you think about the pronunciation, the expression, the tone, and that kind of thing. And then after that, you can even try. So if you just scroll down, right? If you scroll down further, we have the AI oral tutor. That's where actually you can also try in terms of reading and then trying to get feedback also. So our oral tutor will actually provide you with feedback on how well do you read, what could be the score, what are the areas that you can improve on. So that's the way in which we are using AI tools, right? Tech tools to really help all our students here. Because we know that sometimes at home, right, you may not have your parents, your daddy, mommy may not be free all the time also, right? So having these tools there is a way for us to ensure that you are still supported even outside of the 2-hour class and MindStretcher also, right? So this together with our PSLE Telegram, not just for PSLE, but also our Telegram communities, right? You will see all the resources there too. So we do hope that all of you can join because, like I said, depending on the season and for most of these things here, actually they are complimentary and free because you want to help as many people in Singapore as possible. So do check them out and also do refer them to your brothers, sisters, friends, etc. Okay, can. And even in terms of our workshops too. So like you see for today's workshops, I will say that this is one of the many more that we'll do along the way. And it's not just also for graduating students, it's for different levels of students, right? And we will also keep it open to everybody, and in terms of the resources, in terms of the workshops too, so that you know, you all can all benefit from it. More moving forward, we also will do a lot of this in person, because how you all have been doing online webinars last time, right? For some of you who have been familiar with that. Yeah, do you all like the physical format better? Do you like physical or online better? For those of you who are here, physical, right? Why do you like physical better? You can ask questions, right? And that's the other thing that we recognize also, because it's much easier for y'all to ask like teacher Carmen questions and get your doubts clarified also. So over time, we also will be doing more of this. In fact, some of those hybrid, like online and physical format too. Okay, Ken? Yeah, so that's the main thing we wanted to go through today. And maybe if you just go back to the slide, just to let everybody know, in case you are interested to also check out our programs. Actually, right now, our 2026 registration is ongoing. So I think some of the parents here had questions just now with regards to the classes available, you know, our schedule. So you can actually check this out to find out more information if you need, right? And we'll be happy to help from there too. Okay, Ken? Yeah, so as we pause to see whether there's any other questions from anybody, be it in the group here or online. Anyone got any questions with regards to what we covered today? So I think Teacher Carmen covered quite a lot of things today, right? So do y'all learn something from today's session? Okay, so that's very good. Okay, so that is how we touch on power codes, on problem solving here at MindStretcher, right? And we believe that this is an important way for us to really help students on tackling problem sums. Okay, so with that, if there's no other questions, right, then that will be all for today. Thanks very much also to the students and parents online. Do keep a continued lookout for all the webinars that we are holding, right? So that you all can also sign up for them, and feel free to check in with us through this link if you have any other questions also. Okay, so thanks very much to everybody online also. So we will be logging off the online session too. Okay, yeah, so thanks.